Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi. Welcome to my Q&A, where I answer your questions. If you notice, I'm doing soft-spoken in this video, and you might be saying, "Hey, Jonas, you don't do soft-spoken. What the hell is this?" And you're right. I usually don't. But I felt that in the case of this video, it's important if you can hear what I'm saying, and I'm better at articulating myself if you can actually hear my voice. So I decided it would be best if I did soft-spoken. And hence, that is what I'm doing. Not too much to that. But I will now be answering your questions. Now, I did not get a lot of people asking me questions, but I did get a lot of questions in total. So I will be answering these questions for all of you. Whoever cares, I'll be answering them. And I'm going to start off, let's see, who should I start off with? I'm going to start off with I'm starting off with Manzanita ASMR. I don't know if everyone here knows who Manzanita ASMR is, but I cannot list all the things that she's done across her span of life. However, I can say what she's done to me, and it is horrid. A few nights ago, I was chilling in my house, just having a good time. You know, I got a bag of pretzels. Yes, this is a real event that happened. I know this. I got a bag of pretzels, and I was eating them on my chair, and I was like, oh man, this is a good night. I have pretzels. And I hear a knock at my door, and I'm like, oh, that's strange. I wonder who that could be. I open it up, and it's Manzanita ASMR. That's her full legal name. That's her name, Manzanita ASMR. That's her name. And she had a gun. She was aiming it at me. And she said, "Hey, jerk face." And I was like, oh my goodness, the language, the audacity of this woman. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? And she goes, "Give me your shoes." And I go, "No, you can have my money. You can have whatever you want, but please don't take my shoes." And she goes, "I want your shoes." And I say, "No." And she aims, and then she cocks the gun, and I say, "Okay." And I go and I get my shoes, and I give them to her, very reluctantly. And she takes them. And I was like, well, hopefully she gives them a good home, right? But later the next day, I got this video from her.
I'm hungry. I wonder what I'm going to eat. Oh, I know. I'll eat this shoe. What's that? This is your shoe. It's one half of the only pair of shoes that you own. Do you mind if I eat it? You do. That's unfortunate.
I wouldn't have been as angry about this if she hadn't known that I had been saving these shoes for several months in preparation to eat them myself. I had prepared a feast. I had invited my family. We were all excited. And then she did this. And it hurt. It hurt a lot. Because I wanted to eat those shoes. I bought them because they looked tasty. They looked very tasty. And now I'll never be able to eat them. Because of her selfish actions. But Fine, Manzanita ASMR. That's right, I said your full name. Manzanita ASMR. What are you gonna do about it? I'll answer your questions. Your first question is, want to race to 2,000 subscribers? Well, a little bit late for that, but yeah, I guess I'll do a singular race where only I race. That sounds fun. What ASMR trigger gives you? Okay. If you guys don't know, I hate the word tingles. Tingles just makes me feel weird. It sounds like something that you say when you're about to touch somebody, right? Like, I understand it's like a graphic picture, but like, come on. Like, it doesn't sound like a good word. Like, it sounds like a word that you would say, like, in court to be like, oh, and then, he tingled me. Like, come on. Like, that's what it sounds like. So I hate the word. And she knows this. And like I said, she's one sadistic bastard. That's what I said. Anyways, what ASMR trigger gives you the most tingles, and which one gives you the fewest tingles? Okay, I'll answer this question to the best of my ability. I actually don't know which, like, trigger I like the most. That's actually kind of difficult. I would say it's just like general whispering. I'm a pretty big fan of. I know it sounds like really stupid considering it's like what ASMR is. It's like, wow, really? Like, it's like, oh, what do you like from that restaurant? I like the food there. It's like, wow, thanks. But like it's true. Just whispering is what I really like. That's that's my oxygen. I wouldn't say, okay, I wouldn't go that far. Like, it's nice. I wouldn't say it's my oxygen, but, it's nice. Okay. And then which one do I like the least? That's difficult. I know what I hate. Matches. I hate matches because, like, you can never, like, light a match, like, softly. It always makes this big, like, sound, and it's like, like, it scares me every single time. There's also another one, and you're getting out around here. There's another one that's like, I saw Ephemeral Rift do it, and I love Ephemeral Rift, but I have no idea why he likes this one so much. It's awful. It's this reverb one where, like, you hit, like, two metal things together, and then it makes, like, a reverberation sound. It sounds terrible. It is the worst sound, but I don't know. I guess that people have, like, mental problems, and they like it. I don't know why, but they do. But yeah, I guess that would be like I guess the, like, general tapping would probably be one that I'm, like, a big fan of. I like tapping. Like, you know what? No. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I actually have one. It's actually like moving, like, left to right, like, consistently. Like like continuously doing that. I also like anticipatory triggers. That I'm also a big fan of. Okay, okay, there's an actual answer. Okay, what's your process of deciding what videos to make and then making them? Okay, so this one is very basic. I wish I had, like, a really interesting answer for you, but, like, I'll be doing something and I'll think that's a good idea, and then I'll just go home and do it. But to be a little bit more detailed about it, how it actually works is I'll get an idea in my head and I'm like, okay, like, that's a funny idea, right? Like let's say, like, worst doctor ever. Actually, no, worst doctor ever was actually pretty easy. Reiki, except I have no idea what Reiki is. That was a funny idea in my head, and I liked the idea, but there was a moment where I was like, okay, that's like making an ASMR video that's titled Screaming for 20 minutes, right? It's funny to read, but the idea of the video existing is more funny than the actual video, right? So you have to think, like, okay, like, how am I actually gonna, like, do this because you also, like, since I'm making like ASMR, I'd like it to be in some way relaxing. Even if there is humor mixed in there, I'd like people to be able to be like, yeah, that's relaxing. Like, like that's some relaxing shiz. I don't know why I'm saying shiz. That's a bad, that's, okay, bad word. It's not a bad word. It's a bad word in the sense that it's a word that I don't like. But I'd like people to be like relaxed by it, while also like while also it just being like a competent, funny video. Because I could have done like a video for like 20 minutes where I just did this over and over again, but like eventually I don't think that really gets. I don't think it's like as funny. So I tried to do more stuff. So I would say that's generally my kind of video process. It's also just like things that like happen like throughout my day. So if I just have like a really bad like doctor's appointment, I'm like, that'll be a funny video, and then I'll do that. If I have like a therapist appointment, like I'll go, hey, I could do a video about that. I would say that's my general process. Is just like taking in things from my day and then like putting that on paper. Well, putting on paper implies that they're like scripted. They're not really scripted, but you get the idea. But thank you, Manzanita ASMR, for your questions, and I'll see you in court. Okay. The next group of questions is from Garrett. Garrett, I don't know you, but you said, hey man, so I will respond with, hey man. Okay, what's your favorite video game? That's easy. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Whenever I say that, people are like, oh, that's just recency bias. And no. The thing is that I loved Breath of the Wild. For a long time, Breath of the Wild was my number one game of all time. And then Tears of the Kingdom came out. And I was like, okay, like you can put like a whole bunch of good mechanics in there, right? But like if the world is still the same, like I don't know how well it's gonna work. But they changed up the world so much, and knowing the world, I like new landmarks. And I was like, I want to go there, and I want to see what's happened to them. And almost everything is like changed, like something has happened, like each area, and it's so cool. And it not only that, they added so many more new mechanics. It's so much more in depth. You have so much more creative. You have so much more creativity. It's just, I love it. It's great. Can you do a cartwheel? No. I wish I could give you more information on that, but no, I cannot. I'm not a very physically like apt person. I guess flexible would be the proper word. How many birthdays have you had? I have had 20 at this point. I'm still a youngin'. Basically a fetus. What was your favorite Doom? Assuming that that isn't a typo and you mean the actual like franchise by Bethesda or whoever made it before. I think that by default it would be Doom 2016 because that's like the only one I've like really played. I played a little bit of Doom 60, a little bit of Doom 64, but I really couldn't get the controls to work for me. It was set up in like a really weird way where like no control style really worked for me, so I really couldn't get that one to work. I'd like to try out some more of the games though. I'd like to play the original at some point. That could probably be fun. Where did you get all the controllers, and do you have the consoles? So, from GameCube onward, the answer is yes. To the last part. I got, from GameCube onward, I have the consoles to go along with those controllers. However, beforehand, no. My Nintendo 64 controllers are actually both USB. I have like little connectors that can connect it to a real Nintendo 64, but I don't have a real Nintendo 64, so these are useless to me. And then for my NES and SNES controllers, those are actually from the NES and SNES Classics that I own. If you don't know what those were two mini consoles that Nintendo released in 2016 and 2017, respectively. That came preloaded with games, and you basically were able to just play the games that were on there. So with the SNES Classic, that came with 20 games, and with the NES Classic, it came with 30 games. It was really cool. I was a huge fan of it. I should probably bust that thing out. Thank you for reminding me of that. I'd actually like to use that again. How many questions do you need to make a video? If you're talking about like this video that's like currently being made, I suppose as many as I have right now. Next question. What kind of drugs are you into? I used to do weed, and well, I guess I used to smoke weed, and then I used to like do droplets, but now I don't really partake in that anymore. This isn't some sort of like because I think that weed is bad and I think it needs to be banned. It's not that. It just makes me too anxious. I get literal anxiety and panic attacks when I partake in Mary Jane. So I felt it best for me to just stop. And of course, I'm into crack cocaine, like all normal, respectable human beings are. But and lastly, what's your favorite T-shirt? I don't know, but here's the one I'm wearing right now. It's the album cover from Queen. A Day at the Races. A Day at the Races. Which is probably my favorite album by them. It's a very good album. Okay. Next up. This is from LOL. This isn't some sort of like joke. That's what their name is. LOL. How did you get into controllers? So this is... It kind of started a little bit recently. The thing is that I'm not into like all controllers. There is like a bit of controller history that I am indeed into, but like Xbox controller history like isn't that interesting. The design has stayed mostly consistent. The most unique one was probably the original Xbox controller, but after that it's all been kind of just standard, which isn't bad. I think that standardization is good. It means that if a game dev wants to make a game for multiple consoles, they have the ability to do that relatively easily, but it's kind of difficult to like find the designs interesting. But Nintendo controllers have always been very unique, especially since each one is so different. Like, of course, you have older controllers that are interesting, but like a lot of them are kind of just samey. Like the CDI and the Sega Genesis controllers are very similar, like not that unique. Also, I'm not gonna rant about that. That's not the point. But I think that older controllers are more interesting, and the fact that Nintendo controllers have had such a cool evolution makes me a lot more into those. What's my favorite one? My favorite one. So I've already said that my favorite one was the GameCube controller, because I just have like the most attachment to that. But now I'm trying to think again, like what's like out of every controller I've ever used, what is objectively the best one? Out of all the ones that I've used, I would say that the best controller I've ever used would probably be the PS5 controller, simply just because there's so much it does to keep you immersed, right? Like, it does so much to keep you immersed in the game world. And I do believe that there are controllers that are theoretically more immersive, but they work best for that console. Like, for example, the Oculus controllers. Those are very immersive controllers, but that's also for, what you're playing. You're playing a VR system. So, yeah, they're fitted very good for your hands. But, like, I would not want that for, like, a standard controller. While with that, it works very, very well. Wow, but the PS5 controller works very well for flat screen games. It does it very well. So yeah, I'd say that one. So GameCube is definitely my favorite, just because of nostalgia. And you know what, let's also think about evolutionary. I'd say that the SNES controller is my favorite, because that was the one that really kickstarted the standardization of design for controllers. So yeah, so GameCube just for pure, just like me. SNES for evolutionary purposes, and PlayStation 5 for just best feel. How long did it take to grow your luscious hair? I've been growing this bad boy for about, yeah, 3 years now. It's gotten a few cuts here and there, but it's been like trims, nothing crazy. So yeah, this has been going on for about 3 years now. Ever considered taking over the world? You know, I've considered taking over like countries. The world is a bit of a stretch, but like countries, yeah. Like, okay, I think, like, if I got like a good enough group of people together, I could probably take over Liechtenstein, right? Like, who cares about Liechtenstein, right? Is anyone gonna be like, oh my god, Liechtenstein's being taken over? Like, no, no one cares about that place. That one would be simple. San Marino is a little bit like, I think it has like San Marino on paper, I think is like similar size, and you would almost think it's the same, but that has like religious like connotations. That would start like a whole debate. And then Vatican City is small, but like, no, I don't need that. So yeah, Liechtenstein would definitely be like a good start. But the world though, I don't know. Like, okay, I think I could probably make it to Liechtenstein. And heck, maybe I could even make it to Switzerland and or Austria. But after that, I might have to like cool my jets and like, quit while I'm ahead, right? Like, I don't think I'm getting to Russia, right? I don't think I'm getting to China. I don't think I'm getting to the US, right? And if I do, like, what then, right? I just want the power trip, right? Because like when you are like the dictator of of a country and you're surrounded by a bunch of other countries, like they still like provide for you basically, and you're just doing all the work by yourself. But if you take over the world, you have to provide for everybody else, and I don't want that. It's not a responsibility I want. But thank you, LOL. Those were very nice and awesome questions. What's your first experience? Oh, sorry. I just started reading someone else's questions. These these questions are from someone who I'm going to call Based. That's their name. I'm not calling them Based, although maybe they are Based. I don't know. But I'm calling them Based. What's your first experience of ASMR and how did you find out about it? So, this I actually do remember. There was a YouTuber, I don't think he makes videos anymore, but his name was Grade A Under A. And he did a video on ASMR talking about this one guy who took a knife and, like, yeah, he would, like, take a knife and, like, he had, like, a lot of stubble. I don't really have stubble, but, like, he had, like, some good stubble. And he would, do that. And like he was like, isn't this so weird? And like, I was like, what, like 14, so I was like, oh yeah, that definitely is weird for like 2 days. But I was like, I actually kind of like that sound. And then I went back to it and I was like, yeah, I like the sound. I didn't end up going back to that YouTuber because he ended up making like a lot of like boyfriend roleplay stuff, which like that's not like my thing, like I find that like, it's a weird territory of getting into where you're like, oh, we're dating, right? You want to kiss? It's like, no, I don't know you. I've never met you before. Maybe, I don't know, take me out, wine and dine me, and like, then maybe we can talk about moving to like that that stage. But like right now, I don't know you. Like, let's keep it formal, like, you know, I give you a view, you give me triggers, right? Like, I feel like that's like a good back and forth. Okay. What part of the world are you from? I am from the west coast of Los Estados Unidos, the United States. I wish I could give you like a whole bunch of information, but unfortunately I can't because this is the only place I've ever lived. I have never lived anywhere else. So I wish I could say like, oh, I used to live in China. As you can see, I'm full Chinese. But like no, I've just lived here all my life. Mario versus Zelda. Okay, you can't. Okay, really? You're gonna get me to go here? Okay. Here's the thing. All right. That's a difficult debate in my mind because if you look at my favorite games of all time, you're gonna see Tears of the Kingdom #1, Mario Odyssey #2. You would think that would like automatically like denote it, but no, it doesn't, right? Because while I definitely like the Zelda games that I have enjoyed the most, I've enjoyed probably more than the Mario games I've enjoyed. However, I have a more consistent enjoyment with Mario games. Like it's definitely like not all the same for like all of them, but I have enjoyed all of them. Like throw Super Mario Bros. Wii in front of me. Don't even like particularly enjoy that game all that much, but I'll enjoy it. I'll like it. I'll play it. Throw Super Mario Odyssey in front of me. I'm a happy boy. I am a happy boy. I am going to play the hell out of that game. I love that game so much. It's not even funny. Super Mario 3D World, that's a good game. I love the level design. It's so good. I love that game. Okay, people are gonna hate me for this, but you throw Ocarina of Time at me, I could care less. Not a huge fan of that game. Majora's Mask, same thing. Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, eh. Link's Awakening, now you're speaking my language. A Link to the Past, keep them coming. Wind Waker, yeah, yeah, yeah. You see where I'm going with this. I do enjoy Zelda games. I just don't like it's. I just don't have as much of like a consistent enjoyment with them. I more consistently enjoy Mario games, but the Zelda games that I like a lot. Like, and especially like Tears of the Kingdom, right? Like, okay, let's put it like this, okay? There are three distinct styles for those series, okay? For Zelda, you have semi-open world. These would fall into categories like Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, yada yada. These are games give you that give you little areas to explore. There, it is not a full open world. You have to load into each area, and there is generally a path for you to take. But you, but you do kind of get a choice in what you want to do in each small little area. Then you have top-down games. These would be games like Link Between Worlds. I love that game. A Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, even the original Zelda. I'm not a huge fan of that one, but you know, still. These are games that are sort of full open world. Even if you do have to load into each area, it's not like crazy, right? Like yes, you have to load into each little area, but the world is open. You do have a full open world. Like if you play a game like Link's Awakening, at least the remake on the Switch, that one is a full open world, even if it's structured a little bit differently. And then you have this new style that really isn't like, I doubt it's going to be like a full-on style, but it's still one nonetheless. And those are games like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and to a lesser extent, Wind Waker. These are games that are fully open world and kind of give you all the options that you could ever want when exploring. There's no loading screens except for when you're entering buildings and stuff, and even then, those are just like, at least for the case with Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, you don't even need to load into buildings, only shrines. So, yeah. And out of those two, I really only like the top-down games and the full open world games. I'm not a huge fan of the other one. It's this weird mishmash where it's like you have to go to like specific areas and do like specific things. They don't like quite explain it that well, and it's just not really exactly my thing. Mario. You have 2D games. These would be games like Super Mario Bros. U, Super Mario Bros. Wii, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. That looks amazing. I am so excited. It's not even funny. It is looks so creative. It looks so good. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for that game. Anyway, just general 2D side-scrolling games. These are very linear. The point, they get to a flagpole at the end. That's the whole idea. Sometimes you can deviate from the given path and you can go to, like maybe you can go to, maybe you can go to like a secret exit, but that's about the most that you're going to get out of that. Then you have the 3D linear games. These would be games like Super Mario 3D Land and Super Mario 3D World, and to a lesser extent, Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. These are games where Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy 2 kind of fall into another category, so I'll sort of transition that into there. So I'll talk about 3D Land and 3D World first. You are still given a definite end, a flagpole at the end. It is a full linear event to just get to the end and that's it. But now you are in a full 3D environment. There's more room to explore, to find more things. It's the same basic idea, but it also gives the player a little bit more room to explore. Galaxy and Galaxy 2, while it is indeed a similar idea, you're usually not thrown into full-on, like, linear, like, walk to the end. It is usually a playground, and while, yes, there is usually a general thing that you need to do that does kind of have you following a path, there is usually a bit of options of what you can do, and sometimes you can even go and do something completely different. There is a little bit of choice up to you. And then we have the sandbox games. They'd be games like Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Odyssey. These are games where they pretty much let you off into the world and say, hey, find stuff, and then you go and do that. For Super Mario Odyssey especially, they just let you off into the world and you don't even there's not even like a goal. Once you find a moon, they don't even send you back. They just say, okay, that's good. Now go find another moon, right? Just immediately. Unlike Zelda, I enjoy all three of those styles. I enjoy them a lot. But I can also spend a lot more time on Zelda games and I can feel a lot more fulfilled from them. But I also just enjoy Mario games more. So what I'm trying to say is I don't know. I legitimately don't know. But it doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter because I enjoy Pikmin more than both of them. So it doesn't matter. Oh my gosh, Pikmin 4, it's coming out in a month. That sounds so wrong to say, but it's true. Anyway, that's not the point. It's not the point. Based leaves off by saying, I really enjoy the vids, bro. The mic is creative. Keep 'em up, man. Keep it up, man. And I say thank you, my dear friend. I don't know if you're my friend. I don't know. I don't know you. Maybe you're like a serial killer. I don't know. But, we're accepting. We're accepting. And I think that is everything. I hope I'm not missing anything. No, I am not. Alright. So, that is it for this video. If you liked it, well, I got some bad news. I'm not gonna do this style very often, so you might be a little bit disappointed. But I hope that you have enjoyed it nonetheless, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.